Well, there are games that teams win, and there are games that teams lose. And you could argue tonight, and probably win that argument, that the Calgary Stampeders lost this game more so than the Winnipeg Blue Bombers won. But now that the smoke has cleared, figuratively and literally, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers improved to 8-2. And Drew Brown improves to 2-0 as a starter in the Canadian Football League. Welcome inside Game Day After Dark. What's going on, everybody? My name is Darrin Bauming. This is Winnipeg's post-game show. Bombers, Stamps, and a 1918 Blue Bombers win tonight. So much to get to on the post-game show. Great to see everybody joining us in the live chat. Great to see this young man, Zach Schnitzer, joining us as he always does. What's going on, Schnitzy? Quite a game. Maybe not the most entertaining game, but a riveting game for Bombers fans to watch. Edge of your seat tonight?
Oh, yeah. I was on the edge of my seat the entire night. When you win a game by 1 point, oh, my God. But, you know, if you weren't a Bomber fan or Stamps fan watching that game, it was kind of a snooze fest. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Darrin, when you said that Calgary lost this game more than Winnipeg won it. I made some notes on all of the missed opportunities from the Stamps. I mean, Paredes hits the post on a field goal. He misses. He had, what was he, 6 for 6 and 50+ yard field goals up until this point. He misses that one. McRae brings it out, so it's only 19-18. Hakunavanu missed a touchdown catch. He would have walked in. He was on the 5-yard line. Kenny Lawler fumbles the ball, and Stanley Bryant falls on top of it. Roberson dropped a sure interception. Tommy Lewis missed a catch. I mean, there was a bunch of things that happened to Calgary.
Drops.
Drops and just missed opportunities. And when it's a 1-point game, you know, it's always come down to 1 or 2 plays either way. And I think the Bombers were very lucky to escape there with a win. I think they escaped with a win, buddy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Fortunate. Yeah. Drew Brown was okay. Wasn't great. Wasn't bad. Didn't turn the ball over. He finished 17 of 27 passing, 63%. Pretty good. 171 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Brady Oliveira, probably the offensive player of the game. 80 yards on 14 carries, very healthy, 5.7 yards per carry average. Dalton Schoen led all Winnipeg receivers with 3 catches for 50 yards and a big second down conversion, real big. There were moments in this game, Zach, 2nd and 10, where a variety of things happened, both with Calgary with the ball and with Winnipeg with the ball in 2nd and 10 situations. And if I can go through those before we get into a whole bunch of stuff on the post game here, we are going to have video highlights. We're going to look at some of the controversial calls, and you'll be able to get a second look at those controversial calls right here on Game Day After Dark. And we will, of course, get through Walby's Warrior, Westwood wide to the right, our bonfire burning point. There's a ton that could be tonight, as well as all of our other features, game balls and the Happy Honker and the rest. But get this, 2nd and 10, that was the Dalton Schoen 30-yard conversion, plus the face mask. That was a 45-yard gain. That led eventually to a Sergio Castillo 26-yard field goal to put Winnipeg ahead, and they held on to that 12-9 lead the rest of the way, or at least hung on to the lead the rest of the way. But following that 2nd and 10 conversion, which was huge, 2nd and 10, Derek Wigan with a sack for a loss of 8 yards for the Blue Bombers. They had to settle for a field goal, and what was a 60-yard drive on the doorstep ends up just being a field goal that they pick up. 2nd and 10 in the 4th quarter, Willie Jefferson with a knockdown at the line of scrimmage. That leads to just a 3-play drive, and Rene Paredes field goal. Could have been very, very different there. 2nd and 6, Willie Jefferson gets a pass knockdown. Now, that first one won't technically count as a pass knockdown, I don't think. But the guy is, I love the way Dwayne Ford put it tonight. He's a game wrecker. Or maybe it was Jim Barker. game wrecker. Willie
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson is just an absolute beast out there. And everybody knows how I feel about him as far as best players in the CFL today. But another instance that was really big in this one, Zach, late in the game, Prukop comes in
Mm-hmm.
on first down and has a loss of 2. Then Drew Wolotarski picks up 11 on a pass from Drew Brown. It's 3rd and 1 from Winnipeg's own 49 with about a minute left. And they take a time count violation on 3rd and 1. They're going for it at midfield with a 1-point lead and a minute left. And it was another time count violation for the offense. I tweeted at the time, you could see the look on Mike O'Shea's face
Oh yeah.
of pure, just frankly, disappointment. Or, I won't put words in the coach's mouth, but what I saw was somebody that was very, very disappointed in
Well, yeah.
another offensive time count violation.
Well, I mean, it was one of many uncharacteristic penalties the Bombers took. That Lawler was offside. They had 2 time counts. They had what was it? Grounding on Drew Brown. I think they had over 80 yards of penalties, intentional grounding. So yeah, it was rough. It was just a rough game. I mean, the Bombers don't usually have more than 50 at most in penalty yardage, but yeah, that one was tough to take. We were all yelling at the screen, my mother and father-in-law and I, when they took that time count, buddy. And what was it with Prukop on those fumbled handoffs? We were
Yeah.
lucky to escape without turning the ball over.
Option type plays, right?
Yeah,
Where, it's the quarterback. For those that don't know, the quarterback has the option of either handing it off or keeping it. They call it RPO. That's run, pass, option, or just the option play, because it could be an option to the quarterback to run it themselves, option to give it to, in that case, Greg McCrae to run the football. You know, I don't understand Winnipeg going away from just basic football and why
yeah,
there's that need to do these creative things. I do know that the Calgary Stampeders did an outstanding job stopping the run in the second half. They really focused in on it. Brady Oliveira had over 70 yards late in the
right.
second or midway through the second quarter. Finished with 80. So they did a great job in limiting him. The only thing I can think, Zach, is that they were trying to get the run game going in other ways, because maybe when Brady was in the backfield, Calgary was just stacking the box and, playing a real run stopping defense.
Well, and I guess I sort of would echo your maybe confusion with why Prukop was in on 1st and 10. They're trying these RPO, these run pass options. He's coming in cold off the bench. And what was working all first half? Well, it was straight up Brady Oliveira pounding the ball. And yes, Calgary did a good job of stopping it, and they stopped him on a 2nd and 2 late in the game, which was frustrating. But Darrin, like, why wouldn't you just keep hammering the nail with Brady Oliveira in the second half? They seem to go away from it. I mean, I say that, and I'm not going to question Buck Pierce's play calling, but it was kind of confusing to me. And I think there was on the opposite side of the coin, there was a play where they faked the pitch out to Brady Oliveira, and then Janarian Grant ran up the middle between the tackles, which was a phenomenal run call, a play call by Buck Pierce. But yeah, kind of some puzzling decisions by the Bomber offense, that's for sure, especially when Brady Oliveira was just punishing them in the first half for over 70 yards, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Just taking a look at some of the team stats here on Game Day After Dark. And here, let me get rid of the logo there. 17 first downs for the Blue Bombers to Calgary's 11. Can't emphasize enough the drops, in addition to the inaccuracy of the quarterback, but the drops by the receivers, just unbelievable the way the Stampeders struggled. 2 of 17 on second down. 2 of 17. They highlighted it during the game on the play-by-play broadcast. They were 1 of 11 in the third quarter.
Oof.
Unbelievable. Red zone, Winnipeg went 0 for 4. Calgary went 0 for 2. Um, and net offense, pretty even at 264 to 245, a little bit of an advantage for the Blue Bombers. Tommy Lee Lewis was a beast returning kicks and punts for the Stampeders tonight. They totaled 146 yards on punt returns and 91 on kick returns. Greg McCrae, I would call him serviceable with all due respect, a
Yeah, serviceable is
serviceable
good.
returner. But I
Yeah.
think similarly to how we see, very similarly to how we see Zach Collaros now, when you see Drew Brown in a second game, and I'm guilty of the Drew Brown hype as much as anybody, admitted. But you see how good Zach Collaros is, how stabilizing and consistent he is. And it's the same with Janarian Grant, versus Greg McCrae. Serviceable, Greg McCrae is, but obviously not as impactful as Drew Brown. Other numbers in the game or a couple notes that stood out to me. Zach, Sergio Castillo, reliable, man. Like,
Mhm.
we saw Mark Leggio not lose the game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats last night as Edmonton captured their first win of the season. It's almost too bad it happened on the road. Feel for those fans just north of Calgary, of course. But he missed a bunch. And, their head coach, Orlando Steinauer, said it was a tough game for him to be off, right? Which is
Yeah.
about as diplomatic as you can put. Like, could have been a different game if Mark Leggio was able to hit. But reliable Sergio Castillo, he was very, very good tonight, and just strikes the ball clean and
Yeah.
hits and is consistent and reliable. And I think here in Winnipeg, we know how important that is compared to
Yeah.
the times you don't have that.
Well, and in a 1-point game, Darren, your kicking is always going to be under the microscope because that's a point after attempt. If that goes already, you're in trouble. Your field goals are particularly under the microscope. And I mean, maybe it'd be fair to say he outduels Rene Paredes, who was by far the best kicker so far this season, but misses a couple hits of post and then misses about a 50-yarder that McCrae is able to take out. But just such solid play from Sergio Castillo and just a breath of fresh air in Bomber Nation, I think.
Yeah. I just want to pull this up, Zach, and I hope you'll forgive me. But are you wearing like a Michael Jackson jacket or what is that? The Bombers are playing the Stamps. You're wearing your
I
Bombers
know.
gold chain, but then you're wearing red. What's going
Well,
on?
I'm in the basement, right? So I get in the door, I'm wearing a black t-shirt, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to the basement. It's cold in my basement." So I grabbed the first sweater I could. It's like a fleece from Mountain Equipment Co-op. It's not a Michael
Oh,
Jackson
is that a
jacket.
free ad right there? Is that a free ad you
Yeah,
just gave him?
they should be one of our sponsors, Mountain
Yeah.
Equipment Co-op. They sell everything from bikes to
Okay, okay,
kayaks to
okay, okay.
canoes.
You're trying to get a matching fleece for your bride. I can see what you're doing. But yeah, I don't know, wearing red. Interesting choice.
I know, it
Um,
sounds like something you would do usually, buddy.
yes, I will wear green when the Bombers play the Riders, right? I'll wear red when they're playing the Stamps. I'll wear orange when they're
Hey,
playing the BC Lions. Some
that's
people have
right.
said this postgame show or Bonfire Midweek looks like a BC Lions show
Oh,
because of the orange, right?
right.
Because of the golden glow of the bonfire.
Well, speaking of midweek, dude, I gotta give you some props. That was an amazing show. Despite the fact that I wasn't on it, shockingly, you just killed it. You and Danny Austin and
Right.
Winston Rose. And the pregame with Walby was just gold. Like Firestarters, I want to give some love to Darren because he's really upped his game this year. You get
Mm.
players on for interviews. You've got audio. You've got video clips. You've got the graphics. This guy is doing great. He's almost as
Well,
he's almost as
you must have missed. the end of the show where the power outage kind of
No,
screwed
I heard
everything
that.
up.
But
You
that's not your
must have
fault.
missed the pregame with me and Walby when I was sharing the screen and showing everybody the Stampeders depth chart, and you couldn't hear me or Walby on the broadcast, and like Tristan Rivers and all these fire starters are texting the Bonfire Hotline, and they're tweeting, and they're in the live chat. I'm looking at the Stampeders depth chart, and I'm talking about Micah Awe and Titus Wall and Cam Judge and Derek Wiggin and
Yeah.
Mike Rose and this great defensive front they have, and nobody can hear a thing. I'm not looking at the live chat, and
Really? I heard
took a
it on
little
the
bit of editing for
podcast,
the
though.
for the the podcast. So for you
Yeah, it
podcast
worked on the
listeners out there, what's
podcast.
going on? Uh, you
Waiters,
know,
he's saying Winston Rose is the new co-host of Midweek.
yeah, there you
Honestly,
go.
if he wanted to do that, I would gladly resign my seat there. I was almost as impressed with you and your work this week as I was with the amount of double bubbles Zach Clara seemed to be chewing on the sideline. What was that? It looked like
Yeah, I think it was
he was chewing
Scott
5 or
Billick.
6 pieces of gum.
Scott Billick tweeted that it was like a whole pack of big league chew, right? Like the whole, just took the whole.
Yeah, seriously. Was he nervous or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like an Ohio thing. I don't know.
Ohio thing, right? Steubenville, Ohio. They're known for their
Mm-hmm.
gum chewing.
Yeah.
They've won many a gum chewing contest.
What else
I
can they
don't know.
do in Ohio? They
I
produce
don't know.
quarterbacks.
Yeah,
And
not potatoes. That's Idaho.
that's Idaho. Yes.
Yeah, that's Idaho.
Ohio is like below the Great Lakes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Different different deal. I was going to mention, as I was talking about the Stampeders defensive front, this is important for people to understand. Okay. The Calgary Stampeders are 3-7 on the season and entered tonight's game 3-6 and really struggling. They're in the midst of a 4-game stretch where they play Toronto twice, Winnipeg, and BC. The best teams in the league. Back to back to back to back, 4 games, twice against the Argos. And this is not a team with a bad defense. This is a good defense. And yeah, Jonathan Moxey was out with injury. He was initially listed as a game time decision. He did not play. Shaq Richardson, who joined the team just a week and a bit ago, started and played, had the blocked punt. We could probably talk about that too. Jam Sheehan had a couple near blocks, and I'm not putting that on the punter. That is on that blocked punt was a missed assignment as Shaq Richardson came free off the edge. But it's important that people know that the Calgary Stampeders, their demise is their offense. They can't do anything offensively, but special teams, we saw it with Tommy Lee Lewis. We've seen it for years with Rene Paredes. The defense, they are very, very good. The offense is bad, and they've gone 4 games now with 1 offensive touchdown. And they mentioned on the broadcast, it was a medium-sized drive, and Tommy Stevens, their big body quarterback, punches it in from the 1. That was their only offensive touchdown in now a month.
Yeah.
A month. But their defense is good. So I think that's important context when talking about Drew Brown, when talking about Brady's, the run game's ineffectiveness in the second half,
Well, and I think, they are a good defense. They are good on special teams. I don't know what is going on with Winnipeg's kick coverage because it hasn't been good all year. Are they missing the killer Mike Miller that much, Darrin? Because it just seems like they let 2 big play returns by Tommy Lee Lewis today, which was disappointing to see. But just your point on the defense, I thought, I wasn't expecting Drew Brown to have the same kind of success he did last week just because Calgary had a week to game plan. And they have a good defense. They have a good D-line. They had a week to game plan for Drew Brown to make him uncomfortable. And it looked like at times that he was quite uncomfortable. And there's times where he had a few ticks in the pocket and just didn't didn't pull the trigger, didn't see anybody with downfield, or he was a bit confused with the looks he was getting. So I credit Calgary for really making Drew Brown's sophomore start this year, or I guess it was his initial start because he just didn't start last game.
Sophomore CFL start. Yeah.
Sophomore CFL start made him look more human than he did last week for the 2 to 4 touchdowns against Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the talk about, the other team's game planning for Drew Brown, and they have a game of, they have a full game of film on him, and like, look, the reality is it's not an all-star established championship quarterback. So defenses are going to do the same things they do against any team with a inexperienced or non-star quarterback. They're going to throw all different types of looks. They are going to try creativity. They are going to be aggressive. They are going to try to take away the run game or any sort of short pass game that is like a safety valve for the quarterback. I don't think it is necessarily, their game planning for Drew Brown specifically. I think there was naturally an expected fall off from Drew Brown because he's not going to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and mount a 22-point comeback every single game or have those types of numbers every single game. But the time count violations, that has like very little, I would say nothing to do with the defense. It might have a little something to do with what he sees on the defense, but that's an unforced error. And he took a couple of them. Jamison Sheehan, I think, was the first, actually, now that I think about it. So was it 2? I'm not sure. But a very costly one late for Drew Brown. Yeah. And, they went to the run game early. I think that was important to help Drew Brown settle in. But again, the Stampeders defense is a good defense. Don't look past that just because of the Stampeders' 3 wins this season. And, oh, well, they're probably not that. They are a good defense. So I don't think, I think that's important context just in the big picture of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think the stats would say you're right. They are a good defense, although they're not the greatest against the pass, but Winnipeg couldn't really exploit that. And speaking of defense, though, I thought Winnipeg's defense played pretty well. I mean, they had 3 big passes on them, but I thought what they really did well, Darrin, was hold Calgary's pretty lethal rushing attack in check. And especially when, Winnipeg surrenders the highest average rush per attempt. I thought they really neutered Dedrick Mills and Kadeem Carey. And that, they had to do that because Mayer is not going to beat you with his arm. He's just not there yet. He's too inaccurate. He's not good with pressure in his face. There's, he throws off. I was listening to Midweek talking about how he maybe throws off his back foot when he has pressure, so it ruins his mechanics. And I did see that a couple times with Jake Mayer. So he struggled against pressure. He also hit one against pressure too. I think that was the big catch for Begelton. But I thought the Bombers really played well with their run defense today.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think the front of the Blue Bombers defense and the back end of the Blue Bombers defense playing very well right now. Adam Bighill probably would like a couple plays back. I know he has struggled in certain situations. I'm not going to say he has struggled this year or he has struggled in a bunch of games. I've seen Adam Bighill play very sharp football. Adam Bighill, linebacker football. But he has missed some plays this year. Took a PI penalty in the second half. That was a costly one for Winnipeg. I want to pull this up, though, because we were touching on it earlier, and that is the punt block.
Stands at his own 30, lets it fly, blocked! Deflected as he tried to let her go, and now it bounces around. The Stampeders special teams come up big as a flag flies at the end of the play. Stands at his own 30, lets it fly.
So if we see it here, and I think you guys could hear Dustin Nielsen on the TSN broadcast, and shout out CFL and TSN for our usage of this footage. I don't need to do that, but I like to say that. here is Shaq Richardson coming off the right edge. And this is a blown assignment because if you see the middle of Winnipeg's protection, they're anticipating the pressure to come up the middle. And that very well may be what Calgary has shown on film this year.
30.
But Shaq Richardson comes free off the edge, and there's an extra Blue Bombers blocker here that does not pick him up. So a tough moment that no doubt will be something that they'll work to correct. Oh, look, I even gave you a little solo FaceTime there, Zach. I think that's something that the Blue Bombers will work on correcting. But it was interesting how, as the game went on, there were a couple more instances where Calgary nearly blocked Jamison Sheehan's punts, and that pressure came from the middle. So it's almost like Calgary's special teams coordinator, Mark Killam, showing why he is a future head coach in the CFL. Probably out game planned the Winnipeg Blue Bombers special teams, because when Winnipeg was expecting it in the middle, they came off the edge. And then when they looked to the edge, they brought pressure up the middle. So really, really good game planning and scheming on special teams from the Stampeders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not used to our special teams being sort of our weakness, Darrin. I got to be honest. It's usually our strength with our, the days of Medlock, and you look at Janarian Grant and Mike Miller. But I don't know if it's the injuries to Grant and Miller or what's happening. But yeah, Sheehan seems to take a little while to get those punts off. And, we are definitely missing Janarian Grant on kick returns. And I think it was Cramdy who looked like he missed that assignment on the block punt.
I'm bringing those up on screen for a reason, okay? We can look at it and say, well, that's the guy who's not blocking anybody. He missed. We don't know that, okay? Football, especially at the professional level, incredibly complex. I watch Canadian Junior Football League teams game plan and scheme, and it is incredibly intricate. It is not always the obvious, even when you're looking at a mistake in blocking. So maybe Briggs, maybe Cramdy, maybe somebody else. Your question earlier, though, I think is a really valid one. Are they missing Mike Miller? And they could very well be missing him, not just for his play on the field, but his leadership on the field, right? He is involved in practice. He, shaved his head down this year. Like, didn't shave his head, but like took a really short haircut, something I've never seen on the killer Mike Miller for a long, long time. And he looks like a coach. He is effectively a coach as he recovers on the 6-game injured list. So, I just wanted to point that out. You can't just say it's this guy or it's that guy. But we look at it and we tell you, what we see.
Yeah, because on the surface, it looks like he missed his block because the guy basically Shaq Richardson came unblocked and seemed to run right by Cramdy, but maybe it was Cramdy's assignment to block an inside guy, and they just had an extra guy, and they didn't pick it up. I don't know, but
a player on the Blue Bombers defense, as we're talking about Briggs and Cramdy, a young player that again made an outstanding play and now leads the league by a wider margin for interceptions. Demario Houston with a pick 6, his 7th, leads the CFL. I think 4 is the next most in the league leaders. 45-yard pick 6. To really help Winnipeg swing the momentum. Is it your bonfire burning point? We'll find out later tonight.
Well, I'm giving I know I shouldn't be giving. No, I won't give out my award for Happy Honker, but I did say right before that, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law can attest to this, Darrin. I swear to all that is holy. Right before that pick 6, I said, guys, the defense is going to need a turnover to win this game. And boom, Houston with a massive pick 6. Oh my God, I jumped up and down and was screaming in our mother-in-law's basement. Cookie the dog got all excited. She was there. Oh boy, it was a sight to be seen.
Well, and here it is.
It was a sight to be seen. That doesn't make any sense. It was a sight to see. Anyway, yeah, there you have it.
Outstanding play by Demario Houston. And of course it's a, I won't call it a slippery slope, but it's one of those things where defensive backs, you're always doing a cost benefit analysis. And for Houston, you see at that point, if I can do it, if you see at the point of where he jumps the route, there's lots of help there. There's safety help in Brandon Alexander. There's linebacker help in Adam Bighill, and Houston decides to jump the route. And we don't have the best look at, downfield, but there he is coming from the outside in and picking off Jake Mayer and taking it house.
To the 30, it's Demario Houston again. What a season! And he takes this one all the way back, a 45-yard pick six. And the Bombers go in front. Disaster at the end of the third quarter for Jake Mayer.
Dustin Nielsen on the call.
How good is Dustin Nielsen, man?
Love the energy he brings, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
love it.
I've been hearing him call football games for years because he was doing Canada West games when I was doing Canada West radio. And then when I did some sidelines for Canada West TV, he was doing games. So I would be watching, the Bison's games or the Rams games or the Huskies games or the Dinos or whatever, doing my game prep from the week before and listening to Dusty on those calls. He was doing Alberta Golden Bears and then more games across Canada West. He has put in the work. Football, hockey, his play-by-play chops continue to get better. I just love the youthful energy he brings to that play-by-play. It's great.
No, he's unbelievable. But I will say, and this isn't my official wide to the right, so don't worry, folks, but TSN needs to stop interviewing ex-players and randos while the game is going on.
Let's not call them randos, buddy. Come on. Jeff Garcia?
He might as well be a rando because he's taking my attention away from what my attention should be on, which is the game.
But do you need the play-by-play the whole time? If you can see it, do you need it?
Well,
can you get by?
Dude, I can get by, but the play-by-play is an important part of your experience of the game, and it's like Jeff Garcia's talking, and it's the play-by-play is muted, and like big things are happening, and I get it just for a little bit, but they go on and on and on. I don't get it. It doesn't work for me, buddy. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I hear you. I know a lot of people feel that way, but not everybody. So,
Or I get once per game, but today it was like 2 or 3 times.
But it's not once per game. It's less than once per game. It's not every game. This was the 25th anniversary of their 1998 Grey Cup championship.
Who cares?
Calgary Stampeders fans care.
They might, but like that's
they might. Well, that's half the game is the Stampeders.
That's one of 9 teams.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody else in the CFL world cares. Like 25-year anniversary, like maybe 50-year anniversary. 25 years, 25 years. Like, jeez. Who cares?
I'd rather hear Jeff Garcia talk than maybe a 75-year-old that might struggle talking. I won't even say that. I love hearing those old guys tell their stories.
Give me awesome. Give me a 50-year anniversary. That's what they should be doing. 50 years.
Anyway.
What's that? Anyway, buddy, we're going off on a tangent here.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 controversial plays in this game. One that worked in Winnipeg's favor and one that did not.
Oh, that was I know where you're going. Oh,
well, which one do you want to go first? Because I got them both.
Well, I think we have to go chronologically here. Let's go with the BS unnecessary roughness call on Evan Holm against, who was it? Reggie Beggleton, Darren?
Here it is.
Oh my God, that one. I was so angry. Oh, look at that. I mean, I get how the ref sees his head turn there, and it's a teeny bit late, maybe, but he doesn't even hit him in the head.
And there's Mike O'Shea, just not loving it.
And he can't challenge it. That's what we found out in the postgame, right? Like he couldn't challenge it. I was screaming at the TV, challenge it, because the very next play, Calgary hit a huge, 47-yard catch. Was that the Michelle catch where the diving catch, or was it
Yes.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah. So right after that, I thought that was the early bonfire burning point.
So when you
But
see
I
it from
found
this
out later.
angle, which very well could be the angle, you know what? I got to turn my mic down here. Sorry about that, guys. When you look at it from this angle, which could very well be the angle that the back judge saw, this looks like he hits him in the
Yeah.
head. It
Yeah, I
does,
get it.
you know, at full speed. And then you look at it from this angle and you see that, I mean, Reggie Bigleton's hand hits Holm in the face mask, and
Yeah.
Holm just takes his arms, and that
Yeah.
forces Reggie Bigleton's head to snap backwards. So not a reviewable play. Mike O'Shea didn't like it.
Yeah.
But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's just the way it is. Here's another one I want to draw attention to. And this one, this
AKA the
was,
makeup call.
look, maybe. Yeah, good point. Frankly, this is horseshit. I'll just say it. And I know Bombers fans
It was
don't care
terrible.
because it was a penalty on Julian Hauser, defensive end for the Stampeders. But this penalty, Drew Brown throws the football.
It's such a bad call.
And they give him a 15-yard penalty for this.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Insane, frankly. This should not be a penalty.
No, and I think it was a makeup call. Like I'm not saying it's like basketball or soccer with makeup calls, but like
Because look at the
it
Bombers.
looks like a makeup call, don't you think, Darren?
Look at the Bombers sideline. Look at Willie J on the left. Look at Prukop. Look at Kerfala Exume 39. They're all saying, hey, that's a penalty, right? If it was egregious and actually a penalty, those guys would have been losing their minds.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have just been like, oh, penalty.
The only reason I could see it being a remotely a penalty is if he hit him in the head, but it looks like his fingertip grazed his helmet at the best. But you know what? I didn't mind the call because I'm a Bomber fan and I'm completely biased. But even in my most unbiased self, I think it was nice to have a makeup call. That was such a bad call on Evan Holm.
But imagine if the tables were turned.
Yeah.
You would say, that's a makeup call. Call the game the right way.
I just, you know what?
Look at that. Look at your face.
What did I do? I'm just glad here. Listen to what I want to say is I'm glad we won the game because
I love the dynamic you and I have, man. I love it. You know, objectivity and pure fervent fandom, right? I think it's great. I think it is what everybody out there deserves, right? You deserve both sides of the story, the objective and the subjective.
And the better side, side, the subjective. You know, listen though, I what I will say is the call on Evan Holm was not as bad a miss as the one you just showed. Like I will say, take my fan card and put it in my pocket for a second. That was a worse call by the officials on the Hauser penalty than it was on Evan Holm.
Yep.
You know, at least in the Evan Holm one, it was bang bang and his head turned, right? And you know, it's easy to. I think refs are quick to look at it's more dramatic, right? Like a defenseless receiver over the middle rather than a sideline thing where he like literally grazed his helmet. But it's just those kinds of calls, both of them, they kind of suck for both depending on how the game goes, for both fan bases. I think for Calgary fans, when it's a 1-point win and you have a call like that I think led to a field goal, that's a tough one to swallow. You're right. If the shoe is on the other foot, or if I want to use my metaphors, if the horseshoe was on the other foot, you know, like
if the horseshoe was up somebody else's rear.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely had a horseshoe up our rear today. We were lucky to win that game.
Yeah, lucky, fortunate. You know, horseshoe, fitting, isn't it?
Horseshoe, baby,
yeah,
very fitting. I don't mind it. The horseshoe is hurting right now, but I don't mind it being there right up my ass.
I want to talk to everybody out there listening. Great to see everybody in the live chat, watching live, YouTube, Facebook. Maybe you're watching on Twitter. Head over to youtube.com/bonfiresports. There you will subscribe. You'll hit the thumbs up. And people are already doing it. As I said, I'm talking to you out there. Go hit the thumbs up button. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. It's easy. You can do it if you're watching on your smart TV or your phone. You'll figure it out. It helps so much. If you love Bonfire Sports and Game Day After Dark and our pregame coverage and Zach and my show Wednesday nights, Bonfire Midweek, if you want to see us do hockey coverage going into the Jets season, which is right around the corner, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, share to your friends, get the word out. Give us a call. Maybe you want to sponsor us. We could party with that too. 8 degrees Celsius in August in Calgary. What was that about? I have a theory, but I don't know for sure. Crazy. Windy and cold.
Crazy. Yeah, and apparently it was plus 30 the day before, Darren, and then it was, it looked cold, and you see people with toques on. Oh my goodness.
Farhan in the blanket. I think Farhan stole that blanket from Quick Six's what do they call it? Like a horse stable, right? Or his trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Because it looked like it was like a thin blanket, right? That you fold up a couple times and it's like a saddle blanket. You put it under the saddle, right? That's what it looked like. I wonder how Farhan's jacket smells right now.
I don't know, but I appreciated Lapo wearing the blanket and in the studio. I just
so
Lapo
cold.
just makes me
So
laugh.
cold.
It's just like he's such a serious guy. So whenever I see him trying to be funny,
he's not.
I kind of laugh. He's not funny, so I kind of laugh.
He is not a serious guy. He's a fun-loving guy. I just think he takes football seriously. A lot of people say that about me. They're like, DB, you got this look on your face. It's because I'm concentrating. I got concentrating bitch face, right?
No, you don't have resting bitch face. Trust me, I know what resting bitch face is. You don't have it.
But no, Lapo is not a serious dude.
Is that right?
At all. He very joyful guy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then, because I always find I'm laughing at him when he's trying to be funny on TSN. I'm just like, oh, Lapo, what are you doing? You're Lapo. You're serious, Lapo. You're a serious guy. But I guess he's not when it's not football related.
Yeah. Craig Smith, great to see you, Craig. Love that you are joining us live every single show on Bonfire. You are the man. Craig Smith, who worked in the CFL for many, many years as a scout, player personnel director, and many other roles. Wally, being Wally Buono, told me it has snowed in every month in Calgary during his time there. Of course, Wally Buono, before he was a legendary coach for the BC Lions, he started winning championships with the Calgary Stampeders back in the day, those Doug Flutie teams. So 8 degrees, windy is like absolute craziness, 34 and sunny the day before, and then 8 and windy at kickoff Friday night. My theory is that all the smoke around northern Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, we've had it here as well, all coming from BC and coming from the territories. That heat creates warm fronts, and you will get wind shear, right? You will get, I studied this a little bit in university in my useless physical geography degree and human geography degree, lifetime past. And fires and smoke mess with the atmosphere and mess with those weather patterns. So it went from 34 and patio weather. And Josh Burton, who works for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, was tweeting, I think it was Josh, said, just 3 hours on a patio in Calgary on a Thursday night. And he came home and he wasn't around a campfire. He wasn't here on the bonfire, but he came home and his shirt smelled like he was at a campfire, a bonfire all night.
Yes, I saw that tweet. Yeah.
Right. And then that's warm patio weather. And then it's crazy cold and windy, cold for August. Really, really something. But Winnipeg took the wind in the second half. Maybe one of in a game like this, Zach, where there were so many things that if the coin flipped or the shoe was on the other foot, or if just a quarter of an inch went the other way, that this could have been a very different result. Winnipeg taking the wind, the weather, Drew Brown versus Zach Collaros, the drops, the missed tackles, the missed blocks, the tipped balls from Winnipeg's defense, all over the place. Crazy things were happening, and Winnipeg squeaks through with a 19-18 win. You want to get into Walby's Warrior?
Sure, I just love me some tipped balls. But you know what, Darrin?
The best kind.
I gotta say that I just had this thought. This makes up for the crumback game, right? Like the crumback game still sticks in my craw, and now I'm over it because we won a game that we probably shouldn't have won tonight, and and we lost the game we shouldn't have lost in the crumback. So, I'm just loving the chat tonight, buddy, before we get to our awards, and great numbers here tonight. Like this is just this bonfire is
Raging.
It's like I'm sweating, and we even have the UK bomber Frank Horsley all the way from Nottingham, England joining us, and that's pretty cool. Physical geography degree, hey buddy? Like
human,
you said,
actually. Human, but I studied the physical
geography
too, right? You do weather and hydrology, and yeah.
That's pretty cool. And wind shear. What's a wind shear?
It's honestly too complicated to even get into. I could have been talking out
You just made it up, didn't you? Oh, it's too complicated to talk about. You just made it up. You made up.
Chemtrails. Says Don Crochet. Sign guy. Chemtrails. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Conspiracy theories. Yeah. Theron Fleury says it's a conspiracy. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on, Mitch? Good to see you in the live chat tonight.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Who took the wind in the second half? It was the Blue Bombers. I think, or I think Calgary took the wind in the second half. I'll correct myself. I could be completely wrong. Now I'm definitely talking out my rear. But Winnipeg got the ball to start the second half. So I do think Calgary won the toss. I'll have to check on that. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe after the show you'll tell me what a wind shear is when we have a little more time.
Yeah, or like it would be amazing if we had like a little thing, a small thing in our pocket that we could just like type into, and it would like give us every answer to every question humankind has asked for millennia.
Know. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had something like someone on the chat tell us what a wind shear is?
Yeah, what is wind shear? Yeah. Oh, there you go. No wonder Craig and I get along. Geography minor at the U of M. You go. Yeah. I was an English minor at the institution that calls their sports team Bisons. English. Very, very valuable.
Very
English
good
degree.
Point, Darrin. That is a very, very good. I never thought of that. Bisons. Yeah.
Well, see, UND is the Bison, or sorry, NDSU, North Dakota State. They're the Bison.
Where Brady went,
right?
Yeah.
No, he went to UND, Fighting Hawks. Formerly the Fighting Sioux.
Hawks. Okay.
Yeah. No, NDSU, where Ryan Smith went. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah, I remember Ryan Smith.
Yeah,
of course. He had that glitch, like Madden glitch catch from Drew Willie in Hamilton.
I am calling the Rifles games, John Campbell. I am. CJFLTV.com, riflesfootball.com, where you can find really everything you need. They're coming off a big win in Edmonton last week. They are home to take on the rival Saskatoon Hilltops this Sunday, and their brand new field and facility at Maple Grove Park is not ready. It's delayed like 3 days. So we're going to do the game at Eastside Eagles Field. Matt Rollison will be on the color commentary with me for that game. But I love calling the Rifles football games. #RifleUp. Walby's Warrior. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to give Walby's Warrior tonight to Sergio Castillo.
Nice.
Because he is just all reliable Sergio. Making it happen. Winnipeg needed him to be perfect tonight, and he was perfect tonight. The 1-point victory for Winnipeg.
Yeah, he gets the point after attempt, which are pretty automatic for him at this point. And what did he have? 3 field goals? What was the score? 19, so 4 field goals.
Now, do I look at the stats or do I just look at my notes? He hit from 42. This is in reverse order. Well, let's go proper order. He hit from 18. He hit from 24. He hit from 26, and then he hit from 42. Yeah, 4 for 4 tonight.
4 for 4, yeah. And that 42-yarder, that was such a big field goal. Like, those aren't automatic, especially with wind. Oh,
Craig's got every answer that we asked.
damn it.
Wind shear, a change in wind speed and or direction over a short distance.
You said Craig has every answer. Okay, Craig, why don't my wife and I, never mind.
Craig, what is the meaning of life? What is the secret to a good marriage?
Yeah, right. What does my wife really mean when she says, this or that? Yeah. What should I
Who's
get
going
her
to win
for
the
our
Stanley
anniversary?
Cup this year?
Yeah.
Who's going to win
Who
the
is
Grey
gonna
Cup
win?
this year? I think the Stanley Cup's a harder question, but
Yeah, 32 teams. But
yeah,
Greg, I'll hit you up later because if you have all the answers, I need to talk to you, my friend. That's an excellent Wallabies Warrior.
Craig Smith got Ryan Smith to go to Saskatchewan. That's where he was a rookie before coming to the Bombers.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that catch Ryan Smith made when he was with the Riders. I think it was on a commercial where he like jumps 10 feet in the air and then then it pans to a boy in the stands going like, "Oh my God." Yeah, that was a crazy catch, if you know the one I mean. DB, my Wallabies Warrior is seemingly who my Wallabies Warrior is every post game, and that is Brady Oliveira. 99 total yards, 19 on the ground, 19 through the air, 80 on the ground. He was just pounding guys. Yeah, I love how he's the hammer and everybody else is the nail. 5.7 yard average. He had that large of 27. I just love watching.
I love how you call it the large.
The large of 27.
The large run of 27 yards.
Is it the long?
I think it's the long, yeah.
I think that makes more sense. It's the
I don't
long.
think you should ever change. You should say the large of 20. I love that, man. You've been saying that
every
all
time,
season.
don't I?
Yeah. It's
yeah,
yours,
that's
man.
funny because of course it'd be the long of 27. Why would it be?
No, it was the large. It's the large of 27. I love that, man.
Charge.
Don't ever change that.
I will not. I will not change that. But that's he's always my Wallabies Warrior. But Castillo, I think, is a better pick because Castillo, he's unheralded. He's unsung hero. He's unbelievable. Love Castillo.
Yeah, dang good. Dang good is Sergio Castillo. Zach, Westwood wide to the right. The moment in this game that shouldn't have been. That was a folly. That was a mistake. That was an egregious error. That was something stupid or infuriating. The thing you just wish didn't happen. What is your Westwood wide to the right tonight?
Well, there's two wide to the rights for me, and it was both times where there was the botched handoff between Dakota Prukop. One was with Brady Oliveira, I think, and the other, I think, was with Greg McRae. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Darrin, or Firestarters. They just, they put us behind the sticks, right? I think one time we lost 2 yards. The other time, maybe we lost 6. Just not clean football from the Bombers. I don't know. And then sometimes I just wonder why Prukop is there on 1st and 10. Like, I get it. If it works, it's brilliant. And he's always a threat to run the ball. So I get why they do it because it puts the defense on their heels. So they're not sure whether the running back's going to run or whether Prukop is going to run. But sometimes I think it's a little too cute. And then if you have a guy who's coming cold off the bench and you're asking him to, finesse a handoff or finesse pulling the ball on a run pass option, I think it's you're sort of asking for trouble sometimes. But yeah, I didn't love those. Those would be my wide to the right.
Yeah. I could go to some of the officiating calls tonight. I won't. I could go to the time count violations, the some of the unforced errors of Winnipeg's. I'm going to give my Westwood wide to the right tonight to the one overwhelming facet of this game that determined the outcome. And it's not from a Blue Bombers winning perspective. It's from a Stampeders losing perspective. And that is, while Jake Mayer is struggling, he can't do anything about putting the ball on the numbers of his receivers and them dropping them. Also the drop, the near interception. Who was that?
Roberson.
For the
I think it
Stamps.
was
Trey Roberson.
Trey. Yeah, it was Roberson.
Yeah. When they were, I think they were targeting Kenny Lawler. Just inexcusable drops. 1, maybe 2 a game. Okay, bad day. But it was again and again and again. Yeah. And the Stamps had a chance to not just capture a win, but to win against a Western opponent that they are trying to catch in the standings. I doubt they were going to be able to catch Winnipeg this year, just with the way both of these teams are playing. Each of these teams are playing. But to win over a Western opponent is more valuable than a win over an East opponent, even with a potential crossover this year. So Calgary blew it tonight. They lost.
They blew it, and it was a game they really couldn't afford to lose. Like, honestly, when you look at the standing, what is Saskatchewan is 4-5, right? I think. So they're trying to chase Saskatchewan for that 3rd place in the West. Yeah, it's a really tough one. It's a game they really shouldn't have lost. They had a vulnerable Bombers team with a backup quarterback on the road for the 2nd week in a row. Yes, even though Drew Brown was phenomenal last week, he still is a backup quarterback. And they just couldn't get it done. And inexplicable drops by a bunch of different Calgary players.
So Reg Dunlop, aka Friesen, I believe, says score was 6-4 Paredes over Sergio, but Paredes missed and had a doink. So Sergio was a perfect 4 for 4. So we'll give what is it, El Castador?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the nickname. Yeah. We'll give him the nod. Yeah. Mitch, you're right. I was not a math major. Definitely not a numbers guy. I don't know what this is in reference to, Schickster. 42. But that's a good number. I like 42.
Well, was that Castillo's? Was that Castillo's his game-winning field goal was from 42? I don't know.
Yep.
It's the only 42 reference I Blue 42.
Blue 42.
Blue 42.
Yeah. That's right.
He's just calling plays, Schickster.
I wonder what is the origin of Blue 42? Because everybody and their dog knows that, right?
I know. That's what we idiot children playing tackle football on our front lawn when we were kids, and for the quarterback, we said, "You Blue 42, Blue." Nobody knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I really want to know where that's from. Well, it's time for my favorite one of the night. The Happy Honker Award, the moment that brought levity, happiness, joy, enthusiasm to the game. Do you got a happy honker, Zach?
Dude, I have to give it to yours truly. Me. I'm the reason DeMario Houston had a pick 6 tonight.
What? You are?
Yes, right before it happened, like I told you, the end of the 3rd quarter, I say to my mother and father-in-law and Cookie the dog in the basement, I say, if Winnipeg's going to win, the defense needs a turnover. We need a pick. And sure enough, right then, DeMario Houston, pick 6, the only touchdown of the game. Because of me. Cause and effect.
I like it.
It's obvious.
I like it. That's pretty good. I'm going to give my happy honker to whoever is the 100th like on the show, because we're sitting at 99 right now. And I think that is a travesty because there's over 200 people watching live right now, and probably more if you include Twitter and Facebook and the rest. So there you go. Bunch of people jumped in there, tried to get there. I'm trying to pull it up. This is my happy honker moment. Probably overlooked a little bit. See if I can find it. Just kind of a neat moment. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I got it. Moment in the game that was just kind of funny. And friend of the program, Jamarcus Hardrick.
Maybe changing trend in terms of the body types of returners in the league.
Look at that. Jamarcus Hardrick.
Now, if you missed it, that was Jamarcus Hardrick catching the punt, and then doing the fair catch, the American fair catch, waving his hand after catching it. That's my happy honker. Just a nice kind of fun moment. And you know what? I just noticed this. There he is, the man himself, Sergio Castillo, smiling at Jamarcus with the fair catch. Should we see it again? Let's take another look. I think this was a fun moment.
Maybe changing trend in terms of the body types of returners in the league.
Fair catch.
Look at that. Jamarcus Hart.
I thought that was
And that
funny.
was the illegal punt out of bounds. I think that was Calgary's first punt.
Yeah.
Gave us great field position for that. I think it was the best drive of the game for the Bombers was that first drive.
Well, and if you're going to crack jokes during a game, to do it during the other team getting a penalty, I think is perfect. On the nose. Love it. Okay, so that's the Happy Honker here on Game Day After Dark. Hit the live chat. What was your Happy Honker tonight? What was your Walby's Warrior? What was your Westwood Wide to the right? And right now, my favorite, well, the Happy Honker is my favorite, but I think the best post-game feature here on Bonfire, Zach, is this. And chime into the live chat right now. Your bonfire burning point. The moment that turned this game in the Blue Bombers' favor, a 1918 win in Calgary.
Well, yeah, there's so many different burning points you could pick, right? And it's a 1-point win by the Bombers. I mean, I don't know how you don't say the Houston pick six, because it was the only touchdown of the game. It put us up by 4, got us into the lead, and a lead we wouldn't relinquish. I think it put us at 16-12 or something. So for me, it was the Houston pick six. Calgary again couldn't muster a touchdown. They just had 6 Paredes field goals. So I think, getting that touchdown was absolutely massive and great for Demerio Houston, his 7th interception of the year. I think, as you said, the next closest is 4 by a couple of guys. I think Dandridge and Robertson Daniel for Toronto. Just an absolutely massive play on the road where the offense really wasn't clicking too well. They needed something special to happen. And, they don't ask how you win. It's just how many. And now they're 8-2. And they've really put Calgary, in a bad spot. Calgary's not going to catch them. Not that they were, but they really eliminate Calgary from even sniffing at first or second place in a home playoff game. So that was massive. Although I will give a happy honker or a little shout out to that last run of the game to ice the game for Brady Oliveira, where it was like 2nd and 6 with a minute to go, and he runs into the pile and he just starts chugging his legs, and the O-line gets in there. I think Hardrick got in there especially, and they just churned out an amazing first down. I also love that the Bombers went for it on 3rd and 1. I think they were on their 17-yard line at the end of the game there too. So just churning out tough first downs at the end. So
yeah. Why give the ball to the other team when you're one play away from icing it, right?
No, for sure. I think other coaches might have kicked it away, but anyway, I loved all of those things. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Well, here,
burning point. I just named 3 of them. I'm just stealing all your thunder, buddy. You go ahead. I'll stop talking.
Well, people were pointing out that, the blue 42, that the kids yell Peyton Manning's Omaha now, right? So my pal Mitchell White, what's going on again? I already said what's going on, Mitch. You're going to text me later. What's going on?
What's going on, Mitch?
So Ace Ventura, was that the blue 42? Or was the blue 42 prior to Ace Ventura? Because you remember when he's in the tutu and his hair's all, and he's doing blue 42, blue, and he does the spin move and jumps into the fountain or something like that.
Right.
Is that the blue 42? Is that the origin story?
Is it a chicken or egg question, I believe, is you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah. Bonfire Burning Point, the pick 6. I think that's a great pick for the Bonfire Burning Point. Yeah, I mean, I want to pick something from Winnipeg's defense. You know, the pick six gave Winnipeg their first lead of the game, and it was the final play of the third quarter. So Winnipeg took the lead in a game they were tied 6-6 at halftime. Like, what was it? A month ago, Edmonton versus Winnipeg at IG
Right.
Field tied 6-6 at halftime, and I was just like, here we go again. Yeah, I think it's the Demario Houston pick six. That's just a huge swing in momentum. Gave Winnipeg the lead. They didn't let the lead up.
And if he doesn't get the pick six, they lose the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Happy honker. No Montreal horns. Cowbells though.
Right. There was some it didn't look like they had a very good attendance there. In fact, I saw just as many Bomber fans in the stands as Calgary fans.
You
Like there
could
was a
hear
lot
them.
of blue.
You could hear them after the game. Our good friend Carol there.
Yes, Lefty Carroll.
You could hear the woo after the game.
Yeah.
You know
That was
those
cool.
aren't Stamps fans cheering. I'm just seeing
No.
if I can pull up the attendance number.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if it's halfway decent, it's probably inflated because just to the eye test, it didn't look very good to me, which is bad
Let's
for the
see.
CFL.
So it says it's not there.
It's not there.
Wait, Winnipeg Calgary. Oh, 20,106.
Woo, are you kidding me?
Maybe that's if they're including all of the alumni of their 25th anniversary.
Right,
well.
right. 25th anniversary, my butt. Like,
oh, come
who
on,
cares?
man. Come on. Everybody likes Houston pick six for the Bonfire Burning Point. Is that all of our features? Are we just left with game balls?
We are just left with game balls. Or
Okay.
game ball.
You're only giving one tonight? Give me a break, Pud.
I'm only giving one tonight, buddy.
James and the Peg's on your side. Zach is right again.
Always. I'm always right. Just like my dad. He was always right when he was talking about football. Just like me. I'm always right. I called the pick. I didn't call a pick six. I called the pick. I mean, I'm happy I wasn't quite right there, Darrin, but I called the pick.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What's your game ball? You go first, buddy.
Well, like I gave Sergio my Walby's Warrior, and yeah, I gave it to a kicker. I'm probably going to get a phone call or at least a curtly worded text from Mr. 63 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he is indisposed at the moment. But I'll give a game ball to Sergio and Jamison Sheehan, the kickers.
Okay.
You know, Jam was able to get those balls away despite a lot of pressure, despite one being blocked. Those are never like they can be on the punter, but those were not. So we have to remember Jamison Sheehan holds for Sergio Castillo as well. So Mike Benson snapping, Sergio kicking, Jam punting and holding for Castillo's kicks. We'll give those guys the game ball tonight.
Nice.
Because if I'm the head coach of this team, I'm not too happy with the way my team played.
No.
If I was the head coach, which I am not.
Well, listen, as the head coach always says, it's easier to make changes when you look at the film if you won the game. That's good. Leslie Mitchnick, it was me. Yeah. Maybe we
I didn't
both
know
said it at
Winnipeg
the same
Sports
time.
Talk had a Discord.
I don't know.
Do you
I don't
know what
even know what
Discord is?
I've heard of Discord. Isn't it is it an app or some kind of
Yeah, it's like an app. They call it a Discord server, but it's a way of you know, chatting or communicating with others.
Okay.
It's different though.
Okay.
It's like text and voice, and it's different stuff.
Is this something that came out when we thought Twitter was going to get destroyed?
No, it's been around before that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
John Cuppers watching live on YouTube. What's going on, John? Will Kolaris be back for the next game? I think he will. We don't know for sure, but I think he will be back. He's able to throw. He's in good spirits. It is a minor neck injury, according to Jeff Hamilton of the Winnipeg Free Press. So we'll see. I think he'll be okay. I think he will probably practice this week. What do the Bombers have? They have the Alouettes on Thursday. So not exactly a short week, but not a full week. Playing Thursday. So Wednesday walkthrough, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, going backwards from game day. Yeah, I think it could be a 2 practice week. It could be, but I don't think that even factors in.
You think he's good to go, eh?
Just my gut. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was more precautionary that they left him out of tonight's game.
Yeah. I like this. BBP. Bonfire Burning Point. Houston pick 6. BBP.
I like that comment.
There you go. The Firestarters know what's up. You
They
guys
do
know what's
know
up
what's
out
up.
there. Yeah. Tristan Rivers. Always got my back. Burning Point is the missed field goal by Calgary. Yeah, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad one either. That wouldn't be a bad one either.
Yeah, that's right up there, eh? People on the chat too, with some of the Firestarters were talking about
Taylor agrees. Yeah.
There was some interesting timeouts called by Calgary, apparently. I forgotten about that one.
Well, you never know, right? Like Winnipeg took time count violation penalties. Maybe Calgary was in the same situation.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we took a time count penalty on 3rd and 1 at the 3-minute warning. Right?
Yep. Is that right?
And
yeah. I don't know if I remember.
Were we trying to draw them offside there? And
no. It was 3rd and 1 at Winnipeg's 49. I think it was the 49.
Yeah.
No. You are not trying to get them to go offside because you can't afford to take that penalty.
Yeah. It was a bad one.
Yeah, I think you could. That's the one O'Shea's face told the story.
Yeah, that could have been the burning point there if the Bombers hadn't won the game.
Yeah, I don't know what this means. Jake Mayer looks like a Kevin.
Is that the corollary of a Karen?
No, I don't think so.
No. What's a Kevin, Firestarters? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Although Bomber fan, I love Bomber fans' comments all the time. So I'm sure whatever a Kevin is, it makes tons of sense.
Yeah.
Bomber fan knows their football. If you look at the chat.
So did you give a game ball out, Zach, or are you just?
I did. I'm sort of.
Is it the back burner?
Here.
The back burning point.
What Bomber fan is saying? Calgary burned a timeout with missed challenge. Then on the next series in 3rd quarter, so couldn't stop clock when we got the ball at the end. Right. Timeouts came back. Yeah, they didn't have a timeout at the end, so we could just run out the
challenge.
Clock.
Yeah. The challenge.
That was a bad challenge, hey?
Yeah, I mean,
apparently he's 1 of 8 this year.
Yeah, I don't think that was a catch.
No, it wasn't a catch. It was early in the game. It just seemed like a bad challenge. Anyway,
Mike Block, appreciate you chiming in, Mike, or I should say symboling in. If I'm looking at your profile pic there correctly. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you. Are you going to give out a game ball or not?
just leaving everyone hanging.
I think I'm the only one asking. Here, while you think about it, I'll show everybody this. Do you guys remember this?
Yes, of course I remember that.
That is the
NFL
Winnipeg skyline.
Game.
Look, there's the bridge. There's the revolving restaurant, right? Winnipeg, Alberta. I took this shirt out because, of course, Winnipeg played in Edmonton last week, played in Calgary tonight. It was A.J. Cole, punter for the then Oakland Raiders. In the preseason game here in Winnipeg at IG Field against the Green Bay Packers, he got off the plane wearing this shirt. And everybody wondered, where the hell did he get that shirt? Winnipeg, Alberta. Well, to little surprise, originates overseas. So a friend of mine found it. Shout out to Tim Bonner. And he found it online, but it only shipped to the States. So he ordered it, had it shipped to a hotel in Las Vegas that he was staying at like the next week. And he called them and said, "Hey, can you hang on to this package for me?" No problem. So I think he bought a bunch, but he brought one back for me. Awesome. There it is. The Winnipeg,
That's a
Alberta
great.
shirt.
So who makes the shirt?
Oh man, I mean, it's some overseas thing. I don't know where it's made.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah, Southeast Asia, not sure. But yeah, Winnipeg, Alberta.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, fine. I'll give out a game ball.
All right. I've given you enough
Um,
time now.
yeah, no, I gotta give it to Demario Houston. It's one thing to get to be the league leader in interceptions. He seemingly has one every game, but this one was just an absolute diamond, just a gem of a pick six when we needed it the most. Our offense wasn't going to win us that game. They were struggling. They were puttering. They were dithering. I've used the word dithering twice today, but
Dithering.
dithering. Dithering and withering tonight. That wasn't great, but the pick six, hey, you win a tough road game with your backup quarterback. Sometimes you got to win ugly. Not that it was an ugly play, Darrin, but it was an ugly win. And that was the only touchdown of the game. And, the team that had the single touchdown was a team that won. And that was it. He just made a great play on the ball, as you said, in that great highlight. He had help from Biggie and Alexander, so he could afford to maybe take a bit of a gamble there. And it just came at the perfect time right at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Acceptable, Zach Schnitzer.
Okay.
In a show where you've already hyped me, you've pumped my tires. I'm giving you an acceptable.
Look, I mean, Houston is quite a find, right? Like the scouting on this team to find guys like Houston, find guys like Drew Brown. I mean, when's the last time we developed our own quarterback? Yeah, just great players all around. And as you said before, I think Houston stole the boundary corner spot from Winston Rose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a player.
Young guys are going to come in and take the older guys' jobs. That's just a reality, younger, stronger, faster. That's football. That's business. It's the way it goes,
Is more importantly, is Jeff Kabilis the creator of Bonfire Burning Point? I wouldn't put it past him.
I'll give it to him. It was somebody. It wasn't
And
us.
he gets a game ball. It wasn't us. He gets a game ball. It was the
Firestarters.
Yep. Jeff Kabilis gets a game ball. What? This is the first time we've ever given a game ball to someone on the chat.
There you go. Yeah. Dan, good to see you in the live chat, brother. Good to see you. Yeah.
Dan Asham.
Wichita Falls. Or no, sorry. Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Texted the hotline tonight. I got to pull that up. Where is it? Joe in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Probably didn't deserve to win it, but I'm not going to give it back. Well said, Joe. Well said, Joe. Yeah. Where's Big Beaver, Saskatchewan tonight?
Yeah.
Didn't get a text.
Big Beaver.
Didn't get a text in the live or on the Bonfire Hotline tonight. If you guys are unaware what the Bonfire Hotline is, it is a phone number you can call or text. Text probably the best, but if you call, I'm probably not going to answer. I have answered. There is a rare chance I will, but if you call, leave a voicemail. If it's good, we'll play it on the show. So bring a little something. Who knows? You can break through the fourth wall of the live chat into digital, like true multimedia, not just text. How about that? The fourth wall.
That was very, very intellectual, Darrin. That's very good. Almost as good as your wind shear comment.
Well, thanks to Craig Smith for backing me up that it's a real thing and explaining what it is. Yeah, but
well, I don't know. I got to talk to Craig Smith. I have some questions
Yeah,
that
I
are
think
very
I think
pertinent.
Craig Smith should call the Bonfire Hotline. Oh, and I didn't even mention the number. Okay. 204-816-TIPS. 816-TIPS. It's easy. 204-816-8477. Call, text, standard rates apply. It's just like if you make any other phone call or any other text message. Just like if you text your mama. That's what we always say here on Bonfire.
I would
Yeah.
love to hear some voicemails played on this show or midweek. People, send some voicemails.
Well, I'd love to
Put
hear
some,
them if they're good.
yeah, if they're good. I'm sure there'd be some that are good.
Yeah.
Phyllis would be good. Phyllis, come on, Phyllis. Waiters, Jeff,
Fill
Craig
us
Smith,
in.
T. Kona Poe, Phyllis
Fill
in.
us in.
I think Transcona Polly would have an amazing voicemail. It would be loud because it has to be all caps. Or Drax of the North, or Tom Halleck, or Bomber Fan.
Yeah. Oh,
John
I'd love to
Elliott.
hear the dulcet tones of Tom Halleck, press box
Yeah.
announcer
Yes.
at IG Field. Just taking a look at some of the defensive stats here, because hey, why not? Yeah, I said Big Beaver. That is true, Gordo. I did. This is not true, Pyro. I did not block your number. Yeah, this is interesting. Craig Smith asking Dan Asham, related to Arnold Asham, legend in the curling world. The way Dan Asham capitalizes every letter in the last name makes me think that it is the Asham family.
All right. They make all those curling
Yes, they
supplies.
do.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Fill us in, Phyllis. Hit the hotline, 204-816-TIPS. 786-TIPS, Crime Stoppers, right?
Right.
816-TIPS, now that I've confused everybody, 816-TIPS is the Bonfire Hotline. And look, 24/7, 365. And once hockey season starts, oh yes, we're going to have hockey coverage here on Bonfire Sports. And I'm really excited for the things we have in store. Some new names, some new faces potentially. People are going to be really excited. We're going to, join that community of Illegal Curve and Kenny and Rennie and Hustler and Remo, Winnipeg Sports Talk. I don't know if you guys can see. I should see. Look at this. Calling already. Already. The Bonfire Hotline. I don't know if you guys can see this. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not going to answer it right now. Oh, see, you can't see it. I wonder if I could do it. No. Well, I have the Winnipeg Sports Talk hat in my background.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just off camera here. So.
Yeah, and you only got it because you go on there all the time. Why didn't I get one? I'm nothing to them. All they gave me was a Cool Bet t-shirt.
Well, that's okay.
A nice hat.
I love a nice hat. I got to work on it, though. Needs a little work.
The Cool Bet t-shirt is good. My wife was like, that's not very fashionable. I said, what are you talking about? It's a free Cool Bet t-shirt. Fashionable. My daughter says, oh, it's not very fashionable. I'm like, it's a polar bear in a rainbow motif. What's not fashionable about it?
There it is. Dan Asham says, thanks, Craig. Wow. How did you know I was related to Arnold Asham?
Look at that.
Well, you capitalize your entire last name, just like the Asham brand.
Craig knows all. Craig knows all. He could make money, Craig Smith. just put yourself on a kiosk on a street corner, Portage and Maine, and just say, hey, come ask me anything.
Yep.
Why don't my wife and I...
beep, beep, beep. How come she's always...
Yeah.
Why does she always gotta...
Yeah.
Hockey. Why won't she ever...
Hockey. Yeah. Why won't she ever... Yeah, I will not be doing any hockey coverage for you, Darrin. I'm sorry.
How come?
I know
What?
You've asked me so many times, too.
Come on, man.
I can't commit to it. I don't know hockey very well.
It's got to happen, right? I've written for NHL.com for like 4 or 5 years now. I've got... Okay. Hang on. Hello? Okay. This number called the Bonfire Hotline like 3 times in a row, and then I answer and they hang up.
It's got to be Don Cruikshank. It's got to be Sign Guy.
You think it's Sign Guy? I think it's Friesen.
I think Sign Guy loves leaving voicemails.
I think it's Friesen. Yeah. Jack, Drax of the North.
Oh, yeah.
Drop the puck. Let's go. The Jets preseason is in like a month. Training camp is in less than a month. So, look, I've been covering the Jets since day one. I was in the building May 30th? 2011. I was in the building October 8th, 2011, that first game against the Montreal Canadiens. I was in the building sitting next to the legendary Roy McGregor in the first preseason game where Dustin Byfuglien got into that fight right off the hop against the Columbus Blue Jackets. That was that inter-squad game where half the team was in Columbus and then Columbus sent half their team to Winnipeg.
Right.
I was sitting next to Roy McGregor. If you guys don't know who Roy McGregor is, he could be he probably is regarded as the greatest sports writer in the history of this country. Okay. He has a brand new book coming out soon. Now that he's retired, I'm sitting next to the Wayne Gretzky of sports writing. Like one of the moments in my professional career I will never, ever forget. And that was such a cool experience. He treated me like a veteran, treated me like he knew me, like a friend. And this guy is truly legendary. Roy McGregor, check him out. New book coming out soon. What was it called? I just read it today, or I read about the book coming out today, but looking forward to that. Good question. Who's going to be your Chris Walby? I don't know. Yeah.
Who's going to be your Zach Schnitzer, Chris?
Yeah,
Walby?
there's a better question. Who's going to be my Zach Schnitzer?
Walby Schmalby.
Yeah.
Who is that guy anyway?
Everybody out there, great to have you here around the bonfire on Game Day After Dark. Like, what a crazy, weird game that was tonight. Bombers win 19-18. Fortunate, but Winnipeg, I almost prefer this football where it's a little bit more like edge of your seat entertainment instead of them just, generally beating the crap out of everybody every week.
Totally. It is fun. It is more fun.
Yeah, it's a little
maybe
bit more
a home game. I want you to beat the crap out of the other team, but I'll take a close game on the road.
Yeah. And you know what, Jack? I'm glad you brought it up. Rick Jeanneret called Sabres games for 51 years. Another legend of the game. One of the true iconic voices of hockey. Rick Jeanneret passed away yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
I'm not laughing at that. This is what I'm laughing at. Winnipeg Gordo.
Yeah, this is something I won't do. I won't use my Winnipeg Seabears announcing voice.
No.
On Bonfire,
it's
at least
sacred.
not in like a conversational thing.
No, and you know what?
I don't know if you could handle it.
Oh, I don't think you could. I couldn't handle it when I heard it.
If you want to hear the voice, go to a Seabears game.
That's right. Go to a game,
Get
folks.
tickets.
He's not going to do it here. He's not going to give it all away for free. Go to a game next year.
Yeah, I like, like almost a final thought. Kevin Sproul, my brother, said his heart was pounding tonight. Yeah, Kevin, good comment there. Wanted to pull this up. Lynn Reimer says, my happy honker is Houston getting another interception, my wide to the right, our penalties and lack of discipline, game ball to Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson. Lynn, love it. Great job. And then, is it bad voodoo if a coach wears a jersey? I think it would look cool over hoodies, says Waka Waka. I brought this comment up because my response to a coach wearing a jersey is Waka Waka. Has to be a joke. No way. No way.
Coach can't wear a jersey.
No. No, they can't. If you guys are still watching live, hit the thumbs up. If you're not watching live, you can hit the thumbs up on the video. It's just below, or if you're on your smart TV or your phone, you'll find a way to do it. Just kind of like tap the screen, bring up all the menus, that sort of thing. And if you're not signed into YouTube, this is the future. You will want an account eventually. You might as well do it now. Retire the MSN Live, retire the Yahoo, retire the Hotmail. Get yourself a Gmail account before your first and last name and your favorite numbers are taken. Do it now. Get an account. You'll stay signed in all the time. Google already has all your information. So like, what are you hesitating? What are you worried about? They already have it. They already have it. If you've been on Earth the last 5 years, they have it. So do that, sign up, and then you can be more involved in the live chat. You can give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe. You can ring the bell to be alerted immediately whenever there is new content on Bonfire Sports. We got YouTube Shorts. Go check out those videos. We got all different types of stuff. Hockey is coming, and there will not be a Zach Schnitzer of hockey, unfortunately. That's where we're at.
No. I mean, I guess if I studied up and read a bunch of books and watched a bunch of film, maybe I could come across as halfway knowledgeable, but no, I don't know hockey well enough. I can't even really skate very well, Darrin.
You know what though? The reality is most people don't know much about hockey, but it's sometimes just fun to talk about it, right? And that's what
I'll
we're gonna
talk
do.
about it. I just don't think it would be that informative or entertaining. Maybe entertaining. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. And forever, Hotmail hate from DB.
Yeah,
the only
you
thing I like
hate
about Microsoft
Hotmail.
is their stock price. That's the only thing I like.
Should call it cold
Real
mail.
talk.
You hate it. You hate it. What's so
Call
bad
it
about
cold
Hotmail?
mail. Yeah, right. Yeah.
What's so bad about Hotmail?
I just get yourself a Gmail account so you can sign in and give us a thumbs up.
I think I
Come
still
on,
have
guys.
a Hotmail account that I never deleted. I'd love to remember my password so I could go back in there. I'd love to see what emails I've gotten in the last 15 years since I changed over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some good stuff I've missed, a job
Yeah.
offer, or I don't know, some kind of prize.
That's what I'm saying, Jeff Cabillas.
Yeah.
We all pretend to know hockey. Yeah. I mean, I've
Well,
covered the
we all
team
like.
for years, but I'm no expert, but we're going to bring some experts on. We're going to
Okay.
get into real topics. It's going to be good.
Oh, I can't wait, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Gregory, Liverpool is home, which means we can
Okay,
finally
we can
sign
finally.
off. Zach,
Big.
always great to have you on, man. Entertaining game for nervousness over anything else. A bit of a field goal fest, but a fun game regardless. And great to have your insight and humor, as always, here on the postgame show. Final word to you, as we always do.
Sayonara, everybody.